I'll start us with a karakia. Kia tau ngā manaakitanga, atami anaro, ki runga ki tina o tātou. Kia mahia, te hua ma kihi, kia toi te kupu, toi te mana, toi te aroha, toi te reo Māori. Ki tuturu, ka whakamaua, ki tina, huie, taikie. So I've just said, let the strength be with us all, and our life force from our ancestors, so that our words, our power, and our love are upheld, and that we're moving forward together. So I will hand over to Michelle for a little bit of housekeeping at this for the session.
Kia ora, thank you for our karakia, Kathryn. Kia ora everyone, ko Michelle Gallagher tēnei. I am the program coordinator here at CSI and support our awesome associates to help you along in your journey in the community. So I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping up front. The talks are brought to you by Foundation North, and I'm going to multitask here. We're keen for you to take part in this little poll to see if you've received funding in the past. We like to report back and let everyone know at Foundation North who's coming along and if you're getting lots out of it. So awesome, thanks everyone. I can see that coming in. We'll end that. We've got a little bit of other housekeeping, so we're going to have some time for Q&A. Please, there's no silly questions. You can ask anything that's on top of your mind. Take advantage of having Tuihana here. So use the chat. We're going to kind of stay on mute today. And yeah, use the chat as much as you want. Introduce each other, yourselves in there. And yeah, hope you enjoy it. Over to you, Tuihana. Thank you.
Morena ati Maria whanau. I just want to introduce myself. So, tauranga moana, maua o maunga, nā te rangi nui, nai te rangi, nā te pukenga, e tau nei, he taho tuku pāpā no nai te rangi, nā te pukenga, nā te ranganui me te arawa uku iwi no nā pōtiki tuku hapu. Ko tauranga moana, tauranga tangata, he taha tuku māma no Stilo, Whitehorn, Denison and the Kisik whānau. So beautiful to be here today. Lovely to see you all. Kathryn, am I handing it back to you or am I just keep going? Yes, sorry, back to Kathryn.
Hand it back to me.
Back to you, Kathryn.
Kia ora Tuihana. Ko Kathryn tōku ingoa. No Czech Republic me ingarangi o ku tipuna. No tamaki makaurau a hau. Ko kuatunu tōku kāinga e te rohi a iwi o Ngāti Hei. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. So I'm Kathryn. I'm originally from Auckland and I now live in Kuautunu, which is on the east coast of Coromandel Peninsula. I'm in the rohi of Ngāti Hei. My ancestry is Czech from my dad and my mum is English. So my background is in community psychology and evaluation, and I've been an associate with CSI for around about 8 years. So welcome everybody. It's just great to have you here, and thanks for coming along. So look, I'm just going to start with giving a little bit of background to why we are here talking about Hauora today, and why we have Tuihana with us. So just by way of background, last year we did a survey of people who had attended the events, the Te Pūaha events like we're offering today. And we asked for a little bit of feedback about what some of the issues were that they are struggling with or are coming up on their radar. And these topics included everything from strategic planning through to working in a culturally responsive way, to where do I get funding, just the whole range of topics that I'm sure you're more than familiar with. So as a result of that, we developed 3 capability development toolkits. One is the funding guide for organisations that are new, just getting started, looking for funding, trying to find out where to go, how to write an application, who to approach. So that's really practical. We also developed a capability wheel for larger organisations that are looking for resources and tools to really deepen their practice around what they're doing and how to be more impactful. And we also developed this Core Skills Toolkit, which is what we have run this series of workshops on. So this resource introduces new groups or also experienced groups who are just wanting a refresh to the sorts of topics that community groups said were important to them. So you can use these resources in different ways, these capability development resources. They're either standalone, you can go to them for wherever you're at or for what you need, or they can be thought of as sort of building blocks, starting with the funding guide, getting your core skills in place, and then moving on to next level development for your organisation. So the purpose of this and the other workshops that we've run on the toolkit is to really drill down into the topics that are in the toolkit. So you can see here what the topics are, and today we are drilling down into Hauora. So each of the topics in the toolkit, it's very high level. We're just a short introduction, why it's important, some questions that you might want to ask yourself, and a set of resources to help you get underway. So, so as I've said, this topic is Hauora, and at CSI we have a group of awesome associates who specialise in different areas, and today Tuihana is going to share some of her wisdom about and what she has learnt and experienced with working with community groups in this space of Hauora. So I'll hand over to you, Tuihana, to take us into the next phase of the workshop today.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kathryn. Thank you, everyone. I probably should have given you some context about my background and my experience within this space. So I've been an associate for Centre for Social Impact for, I'm not quite sure how long actually, but it's been a number of years now, mostly called to the space of wellbeing and also facilitation. So those have been probably most dominant spaces that I've been in, working closely with Louise Mara, Kate Sherrington, and many others. So really enjoy working in this space of with charity, community, and non-for-profit groups. It really makes my heart sing, and it actually speaks really strongly to my whakapapa if I think about my taha Māori and taha European sides. So I'm looking forward to this today, and I hope that you will all gain a little bit of something from it, and that you can take away some things, not just for your organisation, but perhaps for yourself as well. So shall we get straight into it? Shall we get into the slides? I'm not a very slidey kind of person. Michelle knows this about me. So, but we're going to do our best today because I do like to see your faces, but I understand that many of you've got your cameras off today. So just appreciate that. But if we could get straight into it, that'd be lovely. So if when the slides are ready, we will bring that up.
Can you see the slides?
Hang on, let me just see.
Yeah.
I just need to swipe, don't I?
Yeah.
We're on the first slide is up on Hauora.
Thank you. So many of you may have heard this word Hauora, and it's often bandied about in mainstream New Zealand as meaning health, and it does have some meaning to do with regards to health, but it actually has this beautiful whakapapa, and it's actually made up of two kupu or two words, Hauora, so hau, and then ora. Ora is our well-being. It is speaks to, you'll hear the word oranga, hauora, anything with the word ora in it normally has an affiliation or whakapapa that goes directly back to your well-being, how we feel, activating things within ourselves So ora is about being alive, being active, being healthy, and very much a correlation to our well-being, or hononga connection to well-being. And then hau actually has the word ha in it as well. So hau is the essence of who we are. And the word ha is about breath. So if we're not breathing, then we are clearly with our ancestors, with our tūpuna. So hauora is the vital essence, and within that word of hauora is ha, which is breath. So this word hauora is around the vital essence of your well-being. Ka pai? So, and I always feel like it's really good to share that beautiful whakapapa of this beautiful kupu, or this beautiful word, because we can say, oh, it means health. But actually it has this much, much deeper meaning to it in terms of hau, ha, and then ora. So, ka pai? And actually within that word hau is also the word o, which is au, which is also, when we talk about ko o is about ourselves. So this can actually have quite a personal meaning for ourselves as well. So we have within that kupu, ha, o, and ora. And ha being our breath, o being us, ora being our well-being, and then hau being our essence. So if you weave that all together, it has this much beautiful relationship and hononga to the word health. And I just want to pause for a moment, if we can, and talk about the ha. Often people will say, Tuihana, what's the answer for well-being? You know, can you give it to me in the click of your finger? Can you kind of shoot it at me and then make it all good, you know, because we were kind of always searching for this space of maudiora, which is this, you know, this place of being at peace, or very grounded and really centered with who we are. And I can never give everyone the answer for that. But the one thing I can share with everyone that we often will take for granted in our lives is the beauty of ha, which is breath. And it's a tool that individuals and organizations have got at their fingertips. And ha is the breath that we take in, kei roto, and the breath that we, you know, breathe out. So kei roto, kei waho, right? Breathing in, breathing out. And your ha can actually, when we're in moments of high anxiety or high stress, if we can take 2 minutes, just 2 minutes to ha, to just focus, eyes open, eyes closed, in a comfortable position, it can actually be a real resource when we need to resource ourselves in times of where we might feel discombobulated. And so we have this beautiful tool at our fingertips, which is ha. And I'm going to share a few things with you when we get to the resources slide. But I just wanted to send us all a reminder about ha. And a lot of people go, oh, that's such fluffy stuff. But actually, it is a real taonga. It is an incredible taonga that we all have. And it's very easily accessible. And 2 minutes can make a huge difference to our focus by breathing, and also to our overall well-being, especially in these times often where we come to face high stress and anxiety. Ka pai? So I just thought I'd share that with you. Please, if you've got any questions, put them in the chat and I'm happy to answer as we go along. So if I could have the next slide, please, that'd be beautiful. Thank you. Tū manawa. I was taught the meaning of this word by a beautiful wahine Māori. Her name is Pania Papa. And pūmanawa again is, I said to Pan, what is pūmanawa? And she said, pūmanawa is like, what are your superpowers? What are your pukinga? You know, what are your skills? What are you absolutely amazingly stout at? Like, what are you great at? You know? And so my question to all of you is, what are your pūmanawa? So I have a pūmanawa. I'm going to share mine, and you may like to share yours in the chat. It's entirely up to you. But one of my pūmanawa is my ability to not only, I love styling people. I love, and I get a lot of joy out of creating things for others and styling others. And that's one of my definite pūmanawa. One of my other pūmanawa is my ability to speak quite freely and openly. I don't have a fear of public speaking at all. So that's one of my pūmanawa. And the reason I point that out as a pūmanawa is because public speaking is one of the top 3, I think, fears of people across the world. And so so that's, to me, is a pūmanawa. And my other pūmanawa is I can make the most amazing cream puffs and chocolate eclairs, you know, which I've actually inherited from my mother and from my grandmother. And then my most recent pūmanawa that I've discovered is I can sew. And I really, really enjoy it. And the reason I ask, what are your pūmanawa, is because I know that Michelle, for instance, Michelle knits and crochets and she can sew things. And I know that Kathryn has this, she likes her travel and she likes hiking and walking. And she's also got these amazing skills within the mental health space. And I ask, as an organization, have you ever stopped to ask what it is what are the superpowers of those that are within your organization, within your workplace? And the reason I say that is because there's another thing that we can do within our organizations. We could say to Tuihana, you've put down that you're really great at styling. Would you do a styling workshop with us? Could you talk about how you do that with sustainable clothing? Could you set up a clothes swap at work? You know, could you do that? I worked for an organization, a corporate organization, and there was an office in Manukau. And what they did is they asked everybody what were their pūmanawa. And somebody said, oh, mine is like, I'm really great at playing pool. Like, I'm a gun at playing pool. And another one said, I'm really great at board games. And another one said, I'm really great at makeup. And it went on and on. And so they had this big board. And then what they did is they approached their kaimahi and said, how would you feel if we were to create a wellbeing program or a set of wellbeing interactions where you taught perhaps people how to knit, or you taught people how to crochet, or could you tell us how to put lipstick on properly? Because, you know, that I know that's quite a skill in itself. And could we have a pool competition, or could we have a board games competition? So, you know, these things that we can, that I think, because there's a lot, the wonderful thing about so many that live in Aotearoa is that not only do they do the mahi that they do within their workplaces, but a lot of us have these beautiful pūmanawa and skills outside of our workplaces. And actually, if we could utilize those pūmanawa and bring those into workplaces, then we're actually uplifting and teaching one another. And actually, we're learning about one another. We're learning about one another. And I think that, well, one thing I'm aware of is that many of us, especially within the non-for-profit, charity and community spaces, are finding it incredibly challenging at the moment, just due to funding and other situations that we find ourselves in. So how do we create things without the necessarily having the resource of money. Now, I know that that can be about time, you know, people sharing their time. And I know that time is valuable also. But wouldn't it be lovely? I mean, to be honest with you, I probably have never asked Michelle, but I'd love to ask Michelle, can she teach me how to crochet, you know? I'd love to know that. Or has she got a fabulous stitch that she uses when she sews, you know? So there's all these things that can create these wonderful opportunities to share our pūmanawa with one another, and in that way actually share our stories with one another and create this space of kotahitanga coming together. But also, wow, I didn't know Kathryn was great at that. Wow, you know, and that can help us to create something within this wellbeing space. So just to, you know, I'm here to also to share ideas with you and share things about what you could create. Because I am aware, though, very much aware, that wellbeing looks like, smells like, tastes like, sounds like, and feels like different things to different people. So there's some respect around that. So by sharing our pūmanawa, by sharing your superpowers, then we can, you know, create something that is for all our Hauora. It is for our well-being. Ka pai? And our next slide, please, Kathryn. I have to be really mindful of how I talk whānau because I get super excited about this stuff and I just want to go, you know, and I know I just need to be mindful and slow it down. So, and there's this wonderful, and I just want to acknowledge Louise Mara here. She will talk a lot about, you know, what we have all these wonderful resources around us, but what is it that resources us? So what resources are around us that we can tap into for our well-being? I really like to use and think about the taiao. The taiao is the environment. So scientifically as well, but you know, this is something that we know from an Indigenous perspective, is that if you take your shoes off and you go outside and you plant your bare feet onto Papatūānuku, who I understand is quite cold at the moment, but if you place your waiwai, your feet onto Papatūānuku, there is something that physically happens to you that helps to ground you. Also, when was the last time you sat out on a beautiful, clear night and looked up at the stars and just admired the stars for a moment? When was the last time you went to a water's edge? I know the water's freezing at them, and just dipped your toes in. The wonderful thing about living in Aotearoa is we have all these things within our environment that allow us access. We have water. We have, you know, you've got your rivers. We have our lakes. We have the moana. In fact, no matter where you are in Aotearoa, there's generally access to water of some form. We also are lucky enough to be able to go to places like the ngahere, like the forests and the environment, and just sit or stand or walk amongst it. And that itself can be a resource. Now, you'll probably be thinking, but we're in our workplaces. Yes, you're in your workplaces, but maybe it is that you have kai that we can share. And there's kai and there's also water. So sometimes when we're feeling discombobulated, I know I do this because I'm from Tauranga. I'm from Mount Maunganui. I love nothing more than going by the sea. And I will go home and I just put water over me. Or I don't even, and if I can't get home and I just feel like I need a bit of a pure, like a bit of a cleanse, like a bit of a reset, I will often use water as that reset by just splashing it over myself 3 times. You know, so these are the things that we can do when we need to resource ourselves. Ka pai? So but what resources me may look different to what resources you. And it's about understanding what resources you when you're in need of being resourced. And it's understanding, and there's a beautiful word, actually it's 2 words, ata whakarongo. Ata is to really listen. Whakarongo is to listen. But when you place ata in front of it, it gives it this really significant meaning of, and ata whakarongo is to listen with your tinana. Because so many of us go at life, boom, 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 boom. And I just want to mihi to each and all of you for the contributions that you make to community. And I understand the passion and the love that you have for the mahi that you do for community. But in resourcing the community or the environments that you work in, you also need to be mindful about resourcing yourself. She with her sniffly nose. But I just ask you to be mindful. So you could write down right now, these are my pūmanawa, but this is what resources mean. It could be the laughter of children. It could be going for a walk. But what is it that resources you? And then you might want to share that again within your organization. And you might find that there's common threads of what people enjoy. And then what if you were to all just realize, oh my gosh, we actually all like going for a walk. So could we walk around the block and have a hui? Could we walk around the block? Could we have a walking hui? Could we have that discussion? Could we all go and stand outside, maybe summer, with bare feet and have a meeting outside? Because the sun is a glorious thing. The sun is a glorious thing. The night sky is a glorious thing. When was the last time it rained and you ran through the rain with bare feet or your gumboots on? Remember splashing in puddles when you were a kid? So what I'm really, I think, imploring you all is to think about what is around you. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is like what's within the whānau that you have within your organization and what is around you, because those things cost you very little. What they do cost you is a little bit of time. So I suppose my ask of all of you is to make some time to create something beautiful with the people that you have working beside you, alongside you, with you. Ka pai? Is there any other slides? Or is that it? I think that's it. Oh, and there's all these beautiful resources. Te whare tapawha is a beautiful chicken. And I'm just going to give you a little tip, whānau, because I think, yes, I do. Got a couple more minutes. And that is, I ask you to write your name in the middle. And then your name in the middle, I ask you to write down what is the meaning of your name. Ka pai? Then you put Hininaro, whānau, tinana, and wairua. And then whenua at the bottom. And you write down under each of those, and you can do it, you can draw it if you like. What are the things that help lift you during times when you might feel some imbalance in your te whare tapawha? We've also got some beautiful resources around matariki, Hauora, and just remember, whānau, I know matariki is being done, but we're moving from takirua, so we're moving from winter into koanga. I think we move into koanga into spring. Officially, the spring equinox is around about the 23rd of September. So it's a great time to reset for spring. You've got unu ora, which is a personal wellbeing resource, ngahere, and also ngahere for teens. So there's all these beautiful resources that you can easily access. And some of what I've spoken about today will be woven through those resources. And they're all to do with well-being, both personal practices, individual practices, but also team practices and whānau practices. Ka pai? So please click on those links. And yes, they're also free. and very accessible. Ka pai? Beautiful.
Kia ora, Tuihana.
Kia ora.
That was very inspiring and lots of really, really practical tips. It made me think of one of the things that I've done in a previous organization, which was just a really simple way of connecting, in that there was a puzzle. There was sort of like there were quite a few people that liked doing a puzzle. So there was just a puzzle set out on one of the desks. And whenever anybody felt like having a little bit of downtime or just getting their head into a different space or sitting with somebody, you just go over and spend 5 minutes just chipping away at the puzzle. And it was a great opportunity just to sit with somebody that you don't usually talk to and just have a bit of time together. But and thank you also to Tuihana for just speaking quickly to these resources, because these are all in the toolkit. If you go into the Core Skills Toolkit that's on the Te Pūaha website, you'll see these resources. And the reason we chose them to put into the toolkit was they're just really practical and relevant and useful. So Tuihana, you alluded to all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Just say one thing. One of the people, one little kind of golden nugget I can give you as to people is that when people feel valued, when people feel seen, and when people feel heard, it is the greatest thing that you can do for a person's well-being. Whether they're introverts, whether they're extroverts. And can I also say that in the busyness and the cacophony of this current environment that we find ourselves in, which can be a little challenging, is that well-being tends to go to the back of things. But if you can find the space and again the time and commitment to put it to the front, it can actually have this beautiful ongoing flow and positive impact across many things. So I also wanted to share that too, Kathryn. Sorry.
No, great. It's such an important reminder for us all. So yeah, that was one of my questions, was going to be, how do you carve out the space? But it's really making a commitment to do that.
I think if we can have a commitment to have a coffee in the morning, which probably will take you around about 2 to 5 minutes, then we can have 2 to 5 minutes of something to do with our well-being, like a puzzle, or just sit down and have a cup of coffee with everyone. And you may do that already, but there's definitely it is around priorities too. It is around that. So happy to answer any questions or any queries or any comments that people may have.
Yeah, please, people, put your questions up onto the chat. If we've got the time, we've got Tuihana here to answer them. And also just something else quickly about the resources. I mean, some of you might have resources that you're using that you find really, really valuable. Please share them now on the chat if you'd like. I'm sure the other whānau would appreciate it, and we'd love to see what else is out there and what people are using.
Yeah,
there was it was lovely. So one of you shared how your pumanua of making brownies, which was great. I mean, I love a brownie. I'm sure your teammates love your pumanua that you offer. Yeah.
The other thing is too, whānau, is that I don't know how many of you are aware of the maramataka, but the maramataka is the Māori lunar calendar. So, and the thing is that the Japanese, the Greeks, pagans, all once upon a time, their lives were determined a lot by the different phases of the moon. And if you think about the fact that the moon can influence the tide and the moana, and we are made up of a significant percentage of water, that it makes sense that the mood actually can influence us as well. And today we're in the phase of, well, it can actually differ depending on where you're sitting. Like Ngāpuhi might be different to where we are. I'm sitting in the Waikato and it's o Rongonui today. So I know that it's a day that's quite high energy. So just creating some awareness around the maramataka. And that is a very good tool that Michelle has put up, because there's tamatia phases which are quite challenging and we need to be a little bit more cautious around our personal safety and traveling during that time. And then there's kore, which is a really good time to go into wānanga. And then you have the tangaro phases, which can be really great phases for activating things. So there's different phases of the maramataka that can actually also influence your well-being. And that is a really good resource that Michelle has put up there. So I encourage you to actually utilize that as well as a resource. And you may want to use it as a reference when you might be setting certain things in place, like when you might be hosting an event, or when you might be hosting a meeting and things like that. So it can actually be wonderful insight. Kia ora, thank you.
Kia ora Tuihana. Yeah, it's a useful reminder about the maramataka. I live in a place where we can see a lot of stars at night, so I'm getting quite attuned to what the moon's doing and if it keeps me awake at night or not.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So look, we'll just move into beginning to close up the session. Look, I don't know if you have been into the Core Skills Toolkit online, but really encourage you to have a look at it and hope you find it useful. We're keeping an eye on how people are using it and our ears to the ground about what issues are emerging, if anything new is coming up to the surface. So for community groups and issues that you're dealing with. So we're planning to keep revising and updating this toolkit depending on what we're hearing. So, you know, if you come back to it in another 6 months or so, you might see some more material that's been added to it or some new topics. So please do keep your eye on it. The other thing is that this is the last of our 7 series of topics for the toolkit. So it's quite an auspicious topic to have ended on, I think. So thank you, Tuihana, and it's such an important reminder. I mean, if we can't get our Hauora right, I mean, we're going to be struggling with all the other topics that we've already covered around strategic planning, evaluation. So this is so fundamental to what we do. If you're interested in looking at the videos that we've taken of the other workshops, please go into the toolkit. You'll find them all there connected to the topics, and you will see in a couple of days that this one will be loaded. So Michelle is going to be sending you a recording of the workshop, and there's also a quick chat survey in the chat, which I see is already up there. So if you could fill that in, we'd really appreciate it. Michelle and Tuihana, is there anything else you'd like to add before I close?
No.
Okay.
Just thank you for the opportunity, Kathryn. And thank you everyone that came online today. So much aroha from us to all of you. Kia ora.
Yeah. Kia ora, Tuihana, and kia ora, everyone. Thank you for hosting us, Michelle, and looking after the chat. And yeah, it's been fantastic having you here today, and thank you for coming. I'll just close with a whakamutunga. Kia whakaria te tapu, kia wātia ai te ara, kia turuku whakataha ai, kia turuku whakataha ai. Humie, hui, tai ki.
Kia.